2, 1. What's up, Jacob?
It was good, Jonathan.
How's the drive here?
It was I don't like traffic, bro. It's five.
Dude, I've been going back and forth downtown and then all the way to Beltway and like over here because I've been used to working from home for like the whole past year. So I've been having to do that like, every day and like I forgot why I hate traffic so much. Like Houston traffic
makes you want to build a flying car.
literally or like one of the guys at the real estate place, he has a Tesla, and today he was just pretty much just lets it ride by itself and just taxes away. I mean, he's the busy.
It drives by itself?
Literally. Dude,
cool.
It was like the first time I've been in his Tesla a couple times, but we were actually like on the highway, and this time he actually, I guess, had the auto cruise thing going on.
Yeah.
And it's just so weird, like how it knows the distance to be from the other car, it knows when to turn, when to...
It knows when to turn, bro?
All that crap.
So it's kind of a robot already.
Pretty much.
Like a self-driving car.
Pretty much. So I went to school and I did engineering, right? And one of our classes, like freshman year, was just kind of building these like simple robots, and it's all sensors the way they do it. So
it's like cameras?
Yeah, like cameras, and then like little laser lights that might like track where the lines are, because it's all math. Like if you can see the distance from the car in front of you, you can calculate that and then just kind of time it. You want to be like what, two seconds away from a car, whatever.
Right. Oh, okay.
So then
by the time.
Yeah, it'll calculate the speed.
And then depending on how fast you are, it'll calculate.
It'll calculate the time and stuff like that. So that's, I mean, I'm sure it's a lot more complex than that. But like, yeah, dude, that's pretty much how it is.
Level.
It's a next level car, dude.
Yeah. So every time I'm stuck in traffic, bro, I'm just like, I need a plane, I need a helicopter, I need one of these things, because I try not to stay on the streets at 5. But for you, bro, I went in the traffic.
Dude, no, I appreciate it. I know, like usually, like this is like Houston's so terrible because it's so spread out. And unless you're like in the loop, like you're having to travel like at least 30-40 minutes. Everybody. And then I mean it's not as bad as LA, because that can be.
It's
terrible.
Gonna get there though, bro. Well, with all the construction right now, it feels like it. I don't know, like 610. What else? Really just 610. That's where I am most. It's just bad. I don't get on there.
I mean, I think the way though, how we're kind of preventing it's not gonna be as terrible. It's just the way our highway system is. Like, they're just like inner loops and stuff like that.
I hear ours is pretty good compared to like other places for sure. I have a friend who's a civil engineer, so like I guess that's what he does.
Yeah.
And he's just like, man, Houston's highways are developed really well. Like he's from LA, and he's just like, man, these are weird. Like, why are they like this?
I mean, this goes back to like the economy too. Like Texas just has a much better economy than California. Like definitely like California is very socialistic, and then what's it called? I don't know. There's not a lot of money that goes into infrastructure. Like those projects
over there.
Yeah, like into their roads and highways. Like they pretty much have stayed the same for like a long ass time, or like it just moves like so slow. Like it's just. And I mean, I was born out there, and then I moved out here when I was like 10 or 12. And nice. There's a couple new highways and stuff, but like pretty much like the roads are the same. Whereas like here, like usually they're maintained a lot better. Like it is flatter too than over there. So like
which I don't really enjoy, but
that's one thing I hate about here. Like Houston in general is very flat. Like that's why I love Austin.
Mountains,
you got mountains, you got hills, you can go hiking. You can just kind of like relax, you know, and then that's something that you just can't get in Houston.
Yeah.
So what you doing today?
Today, bro, I just worked out and chilled. Like I work on music a lot, and I think today I just decided not to work on music, bro. For real. So yesterday I worked on a remix for like 4 or 5 hours. Today I kind of touched it up, but I really didn't do too much on it.
Yeah.
So yeah, I just worked out today, bro, and chilled, stretched, did some yoga, bro. Like,
I mean, those days are needed, dude. Sometimes like I'll be going like 100 miles an hour, like 10, 20 projects, whatever, going at the same time.
Every day, wake up, sleep.
Every day,
boom.
like people. I guess people don't understand, like, or don't know like how it is to like produce something, edit a video. Like you're literally hours like editing, and then it's like eventually when you get to like a point where like you're just a lot better, like. The little details even like bother you, like, oh damn, and then that's just, it makes it a lot worse, and then you just,
it's the end, the details at the end, that's the annoying part where you gotta finish. But Yeah, we need breaks, you know.
Yeah, we do, and like I think that's why I love traveling so much. Sometimes I just like, yo, I'm just gonna like
Gives you a break.
gives you a break,
Like,
go detox somewhere else, and then I mean, I usually sometimes I always like travel like content, so I'll take my camera. But there's been times where I'm like, I'm just gonna leave everything here because it's just gone to that point.
I don't think I could ever leave my laptop. I can't leave that, man. I don't know. Maybe one day when I'm just really like, all right, I got these hit records, I'm gonna leave my laptop. But until then, I don't know. It's always like my backpack's always like with me, you know.
Yeah, no, I feel you. I think with me, it's mostly like the cities like I've been to like already. Just for example, like I'll go out to LA a couple times throughout the year. Like after 2 or 3 times, like I'm always around the same spots. I mean, there's an infinite amount of spots, but I'm just kind of chilling, hanging out with people and stuff like that. That it's just, to me, it's like, I'm just gonna relax this time, and then I'm gonna get the same shots, fill my storage with a lot more media than it needs to be and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what I do. Do you find yourself editing or making music more at nighttime or just throughout the day in general?
Man,
or just hustle all day?
It depends. I would say I like to work on stuff when I feel like it. And like I think everybody likes to do stuff when they feel like it. It's good to have a routine though. That's something that I need to develop. But no, for the most part, whenever like I'm like, all right, cool, I'm ready, because it's music, you know. Unless like there's this one song though that I got to work on regardless, because it has a deadline that's coming up, which is the one I want you to help me with.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one, it's like even if I don't want to work on it, I got to work on it. But for the most part, I just work on stuff when I feel like it, because I feel good. That's when I like, oh, bet I'm inspired. You know? So I try to find those inspirational moments, or I find inspiration, and so I can work on music. I don't want to work on music just because I have to work on music.
You just have to work on it.
Yeah.
Got you. You know, are those just like personal projects, or you just do that, or just for every single every project you get? Because I'm sure you get clientele from other people just wanting to get some music help and stuff like that, produce. Are you having to like kind of the same structure for that, or just however it comes?
It depends. So I mean, if I get booked, obviously I gotta work. But with those guys, it's more of, it's the same thing. So I tell them to bring me something that inspires them, so then I can create a vibe around, you know, their liking. So or I mean, it varies, you know. Even with other tracks that I don't have deadlines for, I really just want to work on it. I don't like, if I don't even like it, if I start it and like I'm like, man, I'm not gonna do nothing with it, I'll delete it, you know. Just like I always work on music with the goal to release it in mind. Like I'm not like, I'm at the point where it's like all my music, like it's professional music now. So I'm working on like, this is my career, like, you know. So every song is a possible banger or it's a possible release, you know. And if I feel like it's not, then I'll just delete it, because like, why am I working on it? Yeah, but no, I know a lot of people who just, I mean, it's not around, just have music, just all around unfinished music, and it's just kind of there for like years and years and years. Like that, come on, like just at least get it done or something, you know, or just like you said, like dispose of it. And I mean, you have the idea already, but I guess it can serve as sort of like, you had some idea at the moment, you kind of had it down, and then it can save for later. So I can see it's like I heard from I forgot who I heard it from, but he was saying to sharpen your sword. Like whatever you do, you know, you can be doing anything, but get better at it, you know. And even if like, you know, you don't release it or you don't, you know, finish it, you don't think it's gonna be, you know, anything after you work on it, you know, you still practiced and you put in that effort, that couple hours a day that builds up to the apparently 10,000 hours you need, you know. So, for sure.
No, we'll get into that, your whole music flow, everything, how you started and everything like that. But for now, like I was telling you before, the structure of the show, this is the opportunity where you can get to tell people who don't know you, sort of who you are, where you came from.
Look at the camera?
No, you can it's just straight shot for us. I mean, if you want, you can look at the camera. Cool. But it's just your background, a little history of your background, and what you do.
Okay. A little bit about my background history. I'm from Houston. Born and raised. I'm a city dude for sure. I love the city. I grew up playing the piano, and that's how I got started into music. I guess I'll start with that. So yeah, my mom got me a little keyboard from Walmart, bro. Like when I was little, around eight. You know what I mean? And then I taught myself how to play. She didn't really put me in classes at first. I got it, and then the thing played it like songs itself, bro. And I kind of just like looked at it and then copied it and started playing the songs. And then from there, I was like, bet. Like I started like continuing, and then my mom got me a bigger piano, bro. And I just was like, oh, this one teaches you more things. So I started like teaching myself, because on the screen it lights up the little the keys.
Yeah, the keys.
So like I followed the keys, and eventually I was like, oh. And then I guess my ears. God gave me these ears to like figure out how sound good together. You know,
Yeah.
like I was a little kid. I didn't really know much, but I knew these two sounded good, or these three sounded good. And that's kind of how I got started with music. And then YouTube came when we were younger. So
like right at the right time.
Yeah, at the right time, exactly. So I was a little kid on YouTube teaching himself like how to play the piano, and then I got a guitar, did the same thing with guitar. And then eventually I got into piano classes, but I like taught myself enough at the time to where I was like, man, y'all take me too slow. And so my mom took me out. I still like kept on learning how to play the piano myself. And then, yeah, this is just like my musical background. And then middle school, I ended up playing the violin for 3 years.
Oh, sweet.
And so I learned how to read music. I learned how to read music before, but even more in orchestra. Because I mean, we had to sight read a lot. And I'm good at competing, bro. Like I'm a competitor at anything I do. And so like I ended up making it into like first violins, bro. Like I was never played the violin, but I got put in intermediate instead of beginning, and my teacher was just like, we'll just see how you do. And I ended up like being pretty good. And then the next year I was in advanced, and then I moved to first violin. So like I really adapted to the violin pretty quickly.
Yeah.
And then learned how to read music. In high school, I didn't continue that, but I played football. But senior year, I went back into music doing jazz band. In jazz band, I didn't play any like string instruments, but I played the piano, which was like my main instrument anyway.
Yeah.
So that's kind of like the dots connecting, you know, me to music and where I am right now. Well, okay, so I didn't explain the production. Like, wow, I'm a producer. So yeah, I really don't like play the violin anymore. But in high school, my mom got me a software called Logic. I know a lot of you music heads will be familiar with that. She got me Logic Express, which is like the one right before the professional one.
The Pro?
Yeah, the one right before Pro.
Yeah.
So I kind of like, bro, to be honest, I got the software and I was like, how does this work? I didn't even know how to open it like for like 3 months. I was pretty upset. But then I figured out how to how to open it on the computer.
I mean, yeah, it's like every other program. I think I have what's the other one? Not Logic, the other popular one.
Ableton or
Ableton.
Like
so I have Ableton on my computer, and like I've opened it once. I'm like, it's just like Chinese to me. I'm just like, I have no idea. But then they're all like the editing programs are sort of the same structure. Just have to like, figure them out.
It's the lingo, I feel like. So if I look at Audition, I'll be like, what? But like, I know it'll function the same as Logic. You know, we were both editing things.
Yeah, essentially everything's just layers, you know, and tracks, and then whatever video tracks, audio tracks, and then just compile it together. And then
so basically, we probably be good at like doing each other's. You know, I'll probably catch on to that quickly. You probably catch on to this quickly.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, like
for the software at least, you know what I mean.
Like video, I mean, I think both at a core, at their structure, like they're pretty, I guess, simple. I mean, anyone can put it together. You know, it's like just putting a couple of sounds and tracks, and then for videos, about putting a couple of videos together. And you can have like, I wouldn't call it a song. I'd call it more like sounds together and like videos together. Yeah. Now that putting it into an actual like track and song to make it sound.
What is a song? Your video is a song. You have a beginning, middle, and an end, and you have what climax and all of that too. You know.
Exactly.
So the song.
So it's like story.
It's a story. So they're both stories.
Yeah, and I always tell people like and get in the creative space, and I think it applies to music, any form of art really. Like in the beginning, it's just sort of like you just do what looks cool. You just do what's in the cool effects. You're learning stuff. You're mimicking other people.
Right. You're copying.
You're copying just kind of you're not learning.
That's
process.
what you like. Yeah.
Exactly.
You're just creating what you like, which is cool.
And then I think eventually you realize that like simple is better, and if you can drive a story in a clean, concise way, make it look cool. My thing is like effects are cool, everything's cool, but it has to be there for a reason. Like I don't like things just there for no reason. Like that's what I've started to like sort of develop more of, just like having purpose for everything. and not just clutter.
Right.
And actually like
and that goes with writing. Like I would say that's kind of the writing in the film world. Like this has it's purposeful placement, and in music that's the same thing. But is that like at the end of your process, or you got to like plan out, I guess, see, writing a story in music is, I guess we can all do it differently. But I would say like my writing happens most at the end, when like I overproduce and I'm trying to simplify. Yeah, I'm trying to like pick the pieces that belong there versus the ones that, why are they there? You know what I mean? So that process, my question to you was going to be like, does that happen in the beginning, middle, or the end?
I mean, I guess it depends on the video. Sometimes like I have a good idea and I have like the inspiration's already there, and I know the story I want to tell. Sometimes it happens a lot for like travel stuff, right? That kind of content. Sometimes I have an idea of like the shots I want to get, but not really the story I want to tell or something like that. Right. So it's like just kind of work it along the way. Right, or sometimes I'll put everything together just to have like the skeleton, the rough draft down, and then I'll start putting in like, okay, how do we? And
you start the writing.
So like it's
chopping it up.
I do think if you have an idea prior, already what you want to do, and you have that kind of done, like it makes everything else a lot easier. Right. At least a little simpler, because you can always tweak it at the end and stuff like that. But if at its core, what you're kind of filming or what you're kind of doing, then the shots you're gonna get that can tell that story a lot better. Whereas sometimes I feel like I have to put more into editing when I'm trying to make up for something that I didn't prepare for or didn't have done in the beginning.
And you don't want to like work harder than you have to.
Exactly. Like at this point is, how do I optimize my time?
I think efficient. You want to be efficient.
I think like time is like the most valuable thing that there is. And
hell yeah.
I'm literally like every day like counting the damn seconds, because I'm like, I love taking advantage of the day.
Yeah. And that's why we do what we love, I can talk about that, taking advantage of the time. I would say, to those who are listening to this, do what you want.
Yeah.
To keep it plain and simple, do what you want, but figure out how to do what you want, like no matter what, like, you know what I mean?
I think too, like it's really hard to see it when you're stuck in like the 9-to-5 kind of like corporate kind of job. Whereas when you're doing your own thing, I feel like when you're like trying to make opportunities for yourself, and you're meeting this person, doing this and doing that, like every second is, you only really know like money is time. Like you really understand that concept. Whereas sometimes like 9-to-5, like you're clocking in, you're clocking out, you're guaranteed a paycheck, and like you really don't. You don't understand.
It's not a worry.
It's not a worry. Exactly. You're just kind of like a bystander.
Yeah.
Whereas now I'm like, 4:50, I got to be up. I got to get a workout in at 5. I got to make sure I got to do this, do that. And like, if I don't get that done, like I feel like I've already, that's honestly why I hate traffic. It's not too much that like, I hate being out there. I mean, that sucks too, but I think it's the 2 hours that are lost that I could have been like, I don't know, reading a book. That could have been like editing a video. That could have been like spending time with family.
Cars, bro. That's when they're gonna come through. We can spend time doing that instead of driving.
Yeah, I mean, I hope so, because I mean that's why I love remote working so much. Because it's like, especially nowadays with technology and everything. Like, I mean, there's no really a need to be at a job
place. At one place. At a job too. Like these phones and shit, bro. That's your job. You just got to figure out.
You just got to figure it out. I mean, that's why, like, and I think it's cheaper on employers as well. Like having like not everyone there. You can downsize the office. You're not paying that much for office space. Everyone can afford their own kind of food there and stuff like that. So I mean,
that's the benefit of having people work from home.
It's the benefit, and I think too with like just millennials and us, the average now is 2-3 years people working at a job before they're moving on to somewhere else. Like,
oh really?
Yeah, it's really like it's before it was like, you found a job and you were there 30 years. You stuck it out through. And nowadays, like really, the average is like three years.
Yo, it's probably because we can learn. We know we can learn anything. Like, and that's cheap, the thing. And like, it's fast.
Exactly. Like we've been exposed to so much data and information that you know that you can get a better job somewhere else, or someone else going to pay for more, and then it's a whole lot. We've just been exposed to a lot more that our previous generation wasn't. To them was like, you know, the dream was you find a job, 30 years, you have children, and then that was it, you know. And then internet came out and that just completely disrupted everything.
Yeah, but I mean, I like it, bro. I'm happy to be an internet baby, for sure, bro. Like, not many people know this. I'm gonna get into computer programming after I finish up my audio degree because I'm an internet baby. Nah, that's not why. But you know, I like technology, and I think that technology and music have a lot to do with each other. So,
I mean, dude, I think it's good you're thinking forward because I know, especially with the whole presidential debate happening right now, there's a couple of candidates that are like kind of more thinking forward of like with automation and like AI and then like almost like 30-40% of jobs in like 2020 or not 2020, like 2030 will be overtaken by computers, some sort of AI. You know, it doesn't have to be like some crazy robot. It's literally just the programs that we've made. Like a lot of Amazon's taking, I don't know how much percentage of retail stores like yearly. So all those people will be unemployed. So I think it's important that if you're like working on developing some new skills, like develop new skills,
like technology, because if you don't, then you're gonna be like, I don't know.
It's crazy. Yeah, so that's why I always tell people if you're going back to school, you're reteaching yourself. Which honestly, dude, like anyone can teach yourself anything. I think school is, I mean, the only thing school does is give you a diploma that allows you to have that like conversation.
I think like what Taleb said it, you know, people need degrees in being a doctor and being a lawyer and I would say maybe computer science. I don't even know about that anymore, but like engineering for sure, physics. So those really hard ones, I would say for sure. But like business, I don't know about that. Marketing, I don't know about that. Any psychology, I don't know about that. Like I can go read like 10, 30 books and be good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I feel like, but yeah, that's just my take on it. You know, there's other things that, other majors, I feel like that you can just take small like courses on and not spend thousands of dollars on it and still, you know, be just as good as those other guys.
Yeah, I think it's all a culmination of like what you learn at home, what the school system's kind of teaching you like growing up, and then you kind of get to college with not really having expectations or knowing what the real world is. You know? And that's why you hear the like the languages, all the like the degrees in different languages, or all these degrees and little stuff that like they just don't translate well to the real world, and there is like literally no job that's in the real world that you can literally like apply those. Like literally like me going to school for 5 years and doing engineering degree and like finishing all that kind of stuff. Like I know like engineering, you do need it. I would say definitely,
because you're building buildings, you're building whatever you're building, you need like precise math.
Exactly.
You need all so
it'll be. I mean, so unless you're a genius and you can just do it on your own, but even then, like you need it for that. Lawyers, you still need to do it for that. Doctors, and I mean, I would say those are the top three. Like I think business, like.
You can get a mentor, and that mentor will teach you.
I can promise you guys, you'll learn more from business and 1 year starting a business than you learn in probably school.
Oh yeah. That's perfect, bro. Like go start your own business and go fail.
Like literally, guys, if you're like a senior right now in high school and you're planning on majoring in business, start a business that year. Find a way to get some money, flip stuff, whatever you gotta do, and then you're gonna learn more lessons about business in that year than you'll do, because college is a bunch of like there's so much. I mean, the one thing I hate about college is all the years spent on courses that you don't need, like the history, the language, the social stuff, and like
man, I wouldn't say that you don't need it. It's like some people you don't. You know, I think history is important. Now I think it's important. Back then I really didn't give a F, but now like you know I'm an adult and I'm just like my third eye is getting woken up and I'm looking at things and I'm like, okay, well, why is that way? Well, let me look back and let me look more back. And let me look more back and more back and more back. Why is weed illegal? Weed is illegal because it made white women like black men. And so they legalized it. That's why. You know what I mean? So if you go back in history and you look at things, you can know why. That's why that's important. But to take a class on it and get my engineering degree, nah.
And I think the issue too is not like history on subs. I think a lot of what you should know, you can track it back from history. I think it's just the school decides to like teach you and what's history. Sometimes it's in school.
What history
like
to them you should know.
Like in high school, for example, you learn U.S. history. Like a lot of the stuff you just don't ever like listen to it. You know, I think
I don't remember that shit.
Exactly. I think we are, for example, like the perfect one. Like you've always been taught like when Columbus came over, it was like he found new land. But in reality, like he killed a bunch of people, and then there's a whole like dark side to it as well. You know, when all the Indians that were murdered here and stuff like that. So at the same time, it's important, but it's sort of like I feel like if you want to really know history, you have to like do your own work, do your own like outside work and stuff like that, or else you're just kind of like you fall into that kind of like whatever they want to teach you.
Yeah. I mean, and what I've realized is why it works is because there's a shit ton of people willing to pay for it. Mm-hmm. Like if people are like, nah, I'm not gonna pay for that, these prices would go down. That's just like supply and demand. If they don't want it, you're gonna lower your price. So if people were just like, no, I'm not gonna pay that much, then colleges would be like, yeah, I'm all right. But we got money. It's all the people with a lot of money who are just like, oh, cool, yeah, I got it. I mean, and so they keep it at that price.
It's the Fed too, and everyone just loaning money like crazy, which is it's insane how they'll loan you like $250,000 to an 18-year-old, right? With probably no
better,
no credit score, no nothing, just starting out in life, but they won't even loan you like $5,000 for like a credit line, a personal credit line. So like, and then it's the worst part is like school debt is not, you can't do a bankruptcy for that.
You can't.
It's the only one you can do it. You can't file bankruptcy, so you're stuck with that for like forever,
bro.
F that. So that's why like. I think people should be more open-minded. I think education now is pretty even across all schools. I think the biggest thing you get from schools is networking. A lot of people you meet,
I'll say that.
Organization, stuff like that. But as far as education, I think it's up to the individual.
Right. You can be as good as you want without being at the top or at the bottom. Like it's how you apply yourself.
Exactly. But now that we're getting into a little bit of part of into knowledge. I know you're a lot into reading and stuff like that as well. You got any good books for us that you've read over the past year or life in general?
Yeah. I'll give you. So there's this one book. I'm not like super, super religious. I'm like looking into that right now. But, a book that I've like consistently gone back to and like looked, like opened it and just like looked at something I underlined. Yeah. Is this book called Destiny by T.D. Jakes. So that's the first one I'll mention because I'll always go back to that. Like if I like have a question or I'm like, man, I don't know, your journey in life, there's a lot of like faith because you don't know what's gonna happen tomorrow or the next day or the next day or the next day. And when you're in the music industry, you don't have a map. You don't have like really. You have friends, mentors, and like. The media, you don't have like, here's your curriculum, you get 3 credits for this, you get 3 credits for that. No, there's just like, how bad do you want it, how good are you, and have just God got you, is this God's plan for you? And so you got to know if it's God's plan for you. And so I feel like that book helped me to follow God. And again, I'll say I'm not like religious, so I say God as in the universe, God, whoever your God is, like just know that and then believe in yourself. And so Destiny, dope book, T.D. Jakes. But one I'm reading right now is called The Black Swan.
Black Swan?
I don't know. Have you heard about that one?
I have not heard about that one.
It's by this dude named Nicholas Taleb, I believe. I could be wrong. But The Black Swan is the name of the book. It's about probability. So this book, I will say, where I'm at right now, I'm on chapter 8, but it's talking about how what we don't know is way more important than what we do know. And a black swan is basically a 9/11 or a tsunami or something that we didn't even think that would happen. That's a black swan. So he talks about how those things that spontaneously happened are not more important, but we don't really take into account that. See, we try to make like reasons for things like that to happen. So we didn't know 9/11 happened, but then all of a sudden we're gonna make like we're gonna come.